Supal, now let me correct you. Don't correct your question, okay?
Okay.
And this happens everywhere in the industry.
Okay.
So you need to understand that the Fertilizer Control Order 1985 is a notified order under the Essential Commodities Act 1955. We are the only second country in the globe which has got a regulation on biostimulants in the world. The first is the European Union. We give them that credit. BASAI was conceptualized during another event in Delhi, where a group of 35 companies thought of forming an association to bring in legislation on biostimulants.
Okay.
Vipin, this document is available across the country, across everybody in the industry. But today when the industry needs, they need it because only I have it readily available. I have worked entirely in my life in consultancy as a retainership.
Okay.
So monthly retainerships come. You have a work in the month or not, that's not my problem. You have 100 things to discuss, I'm there because I'm on your payroll. But I'm not your employee.
The regulatory affair person, the job role, is not so rewarded compared to sales and other things.
Yeah.
So a person who is going to the regulatory affairs, what advice you would have and कैसे ग्रो करें, कैसे अपने आप को लाइट में लाएं और कैसे हम आगे बढ़ें?
एक एग्री प्रोडक्ट को, एग्रोकेमिकल प्रोडक्ट को मार्केट में लाने के लिए कम से कम 6 से 7 मिनिस्ट्रीज जुड़ी होती हैं, 17 से 18 लेजिस्लेशंस लगते हैं उसके ऊपर. आपने पेस्टिसाइड को रजिस्टर किया, वो तो इंसेक्टिसाइड एक्ट के अंदर आ गए. अब उसमें जो लेबल जो बनाना है उसमें लीगल मेट्रोलॉजी आ गई.
यस.
आपने उसकी फैक्ट्री लगानी है तो मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ केमिकल्स आ गई.
यस.
आपने उसको एक्सपोर्ट करना है तो मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ कॉमर्स और अपीडा आ गया. आपने वो उसकी फैक्ट्री लगानी तो आपको पोल्यूशन कंट्रोल बोर्ड को भी लेना है साथ में. A microbial can express itself as a biopesticide, as a biofertilizer, and as a biostimulant. You have to provide every single piece of data on toxicology. It has to be acute, which is a short-term one. It has to be subacute, which is a mid-term studies. Then it has to be chronic, carcinogenicity, reproductive studies. If you want a Me Too kind of registration, it's online. All you have to do is fill an online form. You get an approval and you get an online certificate. If you talk about GMOs and all,
Yes.
so GMOs is a big no for edible crops. So rather than calling it GM modified, the genetically modified seeds, now they take the gene edited route. Regulation will come at a cost. You know,
but
if
MSME feels that only the big boys, multinationals
See,
can pay that,
okay.
and then they will rule the market.
Let me give you a controversial thing. I don't know whether your audience is going to like it. Like you're doing a wonderful job podcast. I wouldn't suggest any agri entrepreneur to just stick to one thing.
Yes.
Whatever happens in the pharma industry will one day happen in the agrochem industry.
हेलो, वेलकम टू सुपल शर्मा शो. आज का पॉडकास्ट बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग होने वाला है क्योंकि जो आज हमारे गेस्ट हैं, ही हैज़ मोर देन 35 years ऑफ एक्सपीरियंस इन रेगुलेटरी अफेयर्स इन द इंटरनेशनल मार्केट. सेकेंडली, वो जिस फैमिली से बिलोंग करते हैं, उस फैमिली ने कंट्रीब्यूट किया है 1974 में इंसेक्टिसाइड एक्ट को इस्टेब्लिश करने का इंडिया में. वहाँ से उनकी जर्नी शुरू हुई एंड देन ही हैव नेवर लुक बैक. उन्होंने काफ़ी इंडस्ट्री एसोसिएशंस और स्टेक होल्डर्स को ग्रो किया है एट नेशनल एट एंड इंटरनेशनल लेवल. टुडे ही CEO ऑफ BASAI, बायोलॉजिकल एग्री सोल्यूशन एसोसिएशन ऑफ इंडिया. एंड ये पॉडकास्ट मेरे करीबी भी है बिकॉज ही हैज़ बिन बॉर्न इन होशियारपुर and his hometown is 100 kilometers away from my hometown Pathankot. He has also worked in corporate sector and then moved into the consultancy world. तो आज के पॉडकास्ट में बहुत लर्निंग होने वाली है. So let us welcome Mr. Vipin Saini. Hello sir, how are you?
Thank you, Supal. Thank you. Pleasure being on your show.
Sir, thank you for gracing the show.
Always
Sir,
there.
सबसे पहले आप अपनी इनिशियल लाइफ के बारे में बताओ. How your school life started? How were your school days?
Well, if I need to go that back, तो मैं यही कहूँगा कि मेरे पिताजी असिस्टेंट प्रोफेसर PU के थे उस ज़माने में. 64 में उन्होंने PhD की, 64 में असिस्टेंट प्रोफेसर लगे, और 68 में
1964 में PAU किस तरह पे हो, कैसी थी सर? मतलब आपने पिताजी से
Punjab Agriculture University used to be great.
It would be one of the good universities.
It was one of the most esteemed and privileged universities at that point of time. तो वो पोस्ट डॉक के लिए US गए थे, और उसके बाद फिर वहाँ से 2-3 साल वहाँ रुके, और 3.5 साल फिर पोस्ट डॉक उन्होंने कनाडा से किया. तो उस वक्त इफ़ आई एम नॉट मिस्टेकन इंदिरा गांधी की गवर्नमेंट थी, एंड ये एक उन्होंने स्कीम निकाली थी कि जो बाहर के देश के जो साइंटिस्ट हैं वो वापस आके अपने देश को सर्व कर सके. सो उस टाइम का जो PhD का बैच था IRI का, उसमें से सिर्फ मेरे फादर वापस आए इंडिया में. एंड देन ही जॉइंड एज अ पूल ऑफिसर इन द डायरेक्टरेट ऑफ प्लांट प्रोटेक्शन, क्वारंटाइन एंड स्टोरेज in 74. And I've been surrounded by great scientists of the world, great regulators of the country, and that's how the journey began since childhood in this regard. Okay?
So at that time when you were always surrounded by the scientists, जैसे डॉक्टर्स के बेटे डॉक्टर्स बनाते हैं, तो were your father were keen कि मेरा बेटा भी साइंस में जाए, एकेडमिक्स में जाए, अच्छा
Exactly. That's exactly what happened. I wasn't a very bright child, frankly speaking, academically speaking. But ये था कि probably that was also due to कि मेरा initial schooling was in Canada, and then Canada से फिर जब इंडिया आए तो वो language की problem होती है, and then you waste one or 2 years. तो मेरे साथ भी वैसे ही हुआ. But then I joined MSc in zoology with specialization in entomology, because my father was a insect toxicologist from IRI. Okay, and so after that, after doing that, I got a job as a senior research fellow in ICR.
That is one of the most privileged
institutes, right?
India.
So I started my career from over there. वहाँ पे 1.5 साल काम किया, and being kind of the rebellion kind of type at that point of time when as youngsters are, तो हमें कहा गया था कि भी आपको PhD करा देंगे, फिर नहीं, I mean they said कि अभी और समय लगेगा. So at that time you're impatient. So then I joined a company known as Zacrapac. It's a US company, world over famous for selling WD-40. It's an anti-corrosion spray which is used on merchant navies, and I mean by any marine vehicle going across. So but then, as I said, I come from academic family, from a scientist family. My father didn't much appreciate me being in the marketing line. So then I joined the Shriram Institute for Industrial Research as a toxicologist. So I worked there over about 3.5 years. And since I already had efficacy experience at ICAR, so there was this opening for a regulatory executive at that point of time known as United Phosphorus Limited. So I happened to join them. Their team in the regulatory affairs was basically overlooking the license affairs on pesticide registration, and that's where the interest came into regulatory affairs. So that's exactly from where the actual professional journey began.
And after that?
After that, then it was just by chance. I was wanting to shift a job, and then I got hired by another US multinational, SC Johnson. So they hired me on a consultancy basis. So from there on, then I explored myself into a consultant.
Sir, I'll take a pause here.
Yeah,
when
sure.
you are doing a job in a UPL kind of company, which is like a flagship company when it comes to a placement, till then also and now also. So why did you leave that, and why did you enter into consultancy?
See, you need to understand that if you're passionate about your job, right? So, and if you do the same thing repetitively and you do not see any growth of yourself, that's when the company doesn't matter. Okay, I mean, I know when I was there, we were part of the UPL journey into spiraling towards the up, reaching new heights, right? So but then, as I said, I mean, you need to try new things if you are not, and I'm not a 9 to 5 kind of guy. Okay, so this consultancy came across, but then we were earlier talking to each other and just briefed you that, in India, basically consultants are you get a project, you do that thing for them.
मैंने क्वेश्चन भी लिखा हुआ है पूछने वाला कि इंडिया में क्या होता है कि कंसल्टेंसी का मतलब है भाई मुझे बता दे, बेटा मुझे बता दे, या दोस्त मुझे बता दे.
You're not
they make
lawyers.
a relation and they want everything
you
for
need
free.
to interpret regulatory affairs as lawyers. Lawyers, they will charge you even if they talk to you for 10 minutes.
Yes.
Consultancy in India has taken an ease. मैंने आपसे पूछा, आपने मुझे बता दिया इसमें आपने क्या बड़ा किया.
Right.
तो अगर आपको पता था, नहीं पता था, तो मैंने बताया ना, तो I need to be paid for that thing. So I didn't want to.
क्वेश्चन पूछूंगा, जब आपने जंप किया at that time from UPL to consultancy business, did you had finance in control कि मेरे पास इतने months का पैसा मेरा चल जाएगा, और it was just a leap of faith, देखा जाएगा जो होगा?
Supal, it was a very interesting journey. I left the job because as I said, I didn't want to do the same job again and again. And उसमें क्या हुआ कि I left the job of UPL at the same salary.
Okay.
There was no salary growth. But by the time I was relieved by UPL, I was also their consultant at the same salary. So
nice.
My salary got doubled.
Okay.
And then I got some 2-3 more clients, and things like that. Then consultancy में होता है, नया जब आप बनते हैं कि आपको सैलरी से एक फिक्स्ड इनकम आती है, लेकिन जब आप कंसल्टेंसी में होते हैं तो 6 months, a year, 2 years down the line 2 क्लाइंट छोड़ के चले जाते हैं, 3 आते हैं, एक रह जाता कभी कभार.
On the toes.
You're always on your toes. Sometimes you're making good money, sometimes you're just okay, fair enough, it's there. Or at times also you're also eating up into your savings at probably.
And obviously this was your collective family decision. आपके wife ने भी इसको समझा होगा, and you would have taken.
She was scared. I'll be honest, she was scared क्योंकि एक fixed income आने में और then all of a sudden तुम ऐसे चले जाओ. And this happened about a year. Then I lost a couple of clients. Then I gained a couple of clients.
मेरे केस में सर बिल्कुल उल्टा था. मेरे केस में मतलब it's very, my journey has just started, but my wife pushed me. Because she could know कि जब मैं आता हूँ तो I don't feel so charged up doing the same job again and again.
See, charging का काम मेरा है, supporting का काम wife का है, and she's been very supportive throughout my journey. There's no doubt about it. But yes, the journey of being a consultant was not to make, obviously money is one of the parts. Yes. But what I'm trying to say is not to be, doing what normal consultants do. And so I chose a different type of consultancy, which probably I can tell you later on. Okay. You've got a question for that, I
yes,
believe.
yes.
So, yeah.
And then after that, what happened?
After that, the 12 years I was a consultant. And I was also the technical member on the Crop Care Federation of India's technical, as a technical member over there. And I was consulted practically during all that tenure, 12 years, on regulatory affairs or registration processes and what's the updates and all. So I was very much encouraged by my involvement over there. I had developed a repute to the sense that if I had said something, that meant that, okay, that's it. That settles down the dust. And till date, I enjoy that privilege in that regard. So in 2013, interestingly, Supal, you'll be interested to know that we're talking about agri entrepreneurs. I'm not an agriculture graduate. Okay.
Yes.
So I'm a plain simple MSc in zoology. And
whatever you learned on the field only.
On the field while working with these guys. So in 2013, what happened that there was this opening in Crop Life India for their executive director. And I happened to land into that particular position, worked there diligently for about 3 years, and had to sacrifice my consultancy during that point of time. Then after 3 years, then there was this new association which came across Agrochem Federation of India in 2017.
Okay.
Now this was formed because there were import restrictions being placed on pesticide formulations in the country, or pesticide imports in general, technical and formulations. तो वो क्या हुआ कि I left Crop Life India. I knew, the pesticide industry, the crop protection industry, I started from that angle. So it's a very small industry, so you know practically everybody.
Everyone.
So ACFI approached me from that angle. That, okay, now you free, why don't you take over this? So I was their founder, executive director, and we did marvelous work over there. Helped establish that association for 2 years, and then in 2019 I got an opportunity of shifting my whole regulatory affairs expertise from chemical agri inputs to biological agri inputs. So that's when I joined BASAI, Biological Agri.
But how tough is that, sir? Because organization में भी people who masters one, like everybody knows who are in the field, crop protection and crop nutrition are completely two different worlds.
Yes.
So diversifying into that, how difficult was it?
See, as I said, I'm not an agriculture graduate. Okay. So my core competency is regulatory affairs.
Okay.
Interpreting, understanding a legislation and act, to interpret its true meaning or read in between the lines where something is possible, where it's not, with respect to the industry, the government, and I've been quite, into government, helping the government in amending various rules of the Insecticides Act also. So, the only challenge was that from Insecticides Act, you're moving into the biological, that is the Fertilizer Control Order.
Yes.
That's where these biologicals are. But if you see, biopesticides are already being dealt under the Insecticides Act. So thoda wo knowledge tha.
You can also tell our audience that in 2021, the Biological Act came and how it had revolutionized the industry.
Okay, Supal, now let me correct you. Don't correct your question, okay?
Okay.
And this happens everywhere in the industry.
Okay.
See, you need to understand that the Fertilizer Control Order 1985 is a notified order under the Essential Commodities Act 1955.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
So the Insecticides Act is there, the insecticide rules is there.
Okay.
Here the FCO is a notified order within the Essential Commodities Act. Within that act, in 2021, the government notified the regulations for biostimulants.
Okay.
Which were being sold across the country. Some of them laced with other chemicals and PGRs and all that kind of stuff for that marketing sting. And since 2012, the government was in a fix. They had collected the samples and they were found to be laced with pesticides and all, but they could not, place them to trial because neither those products were coming under the Insecticides Act nor under the Fertilizer Control Order. So that's when they brought it under this, and now it's controlled under the Fertilizer Control Order. And till date, I'll say that we are the only second country in the globe which has got a regulation on biostimulants in the world. The first is the European Union. We give them that credit.
Okay.
Though I believe we should be the first one, but let's leave it like that.
So if you talk about China or US, it is not there?
No.
It's not.
No. They don't have a definited legislation on that part. They considered it in some places, in some ways, under the pesticides legislations of theirs or the fertilizer. But across the globe, if you see, they are all considered as under the fertilizer legislations. But if you talk about definitive notified legislations of clear-cut mark, only Europe and India has got that thing. Till date.
Nice. It's glad to hear that.
Yeah.
And now tell us, our audience, about BASAI also and your role as a CEO there.
Okay, so BASAI was conceptualized during another event in Delhi, where a group of 30-35 companies thought of forming an association to bring in legislation on biostimulants.
Okay.
This was in 2019. 2019.
Okay.
However, the movement had already started in 2017, as I said.
Okay.
And as executive director, Agrochem Federation at that point of time, we had initiated that movement with the government. So it was only by chance that I became as a CEO of BASAI. So BASAI was conceptualized and then formalized conceptualized in Feb 2019. And in June 2019, we got formalized under the Companies Act section. It's a Section 8 company, so not for profit one. And the basic aim was biostimulants.
So can you explain our audience about this also, Section 8 company and not for the profit one? What does it mean
Okay,
for the
so
layman to
so
understand?
all companies जो हिंदुस्तान में काम करती हैं, they
Business
have to
कर
be
रही हैं।
registered.
Yes.
Okay.
प्राइवेट लिमिटेड हो, लिमिटेड हो, प्रोप्राइटर हो,
ठीक है,
कुछ भी है,
हाँ।
ठीक है।
तो जो एसोसिएशंस होती हैं, तो या तो वो कंपनीज एक्ट में एक सेक्शन 8 करके है, नॉट फॉर प्रॉफिट,
ओके
ठीक है, दे आर नॉट कॉल्ड एनजीओस,
ओके
दे आर नॉट कॉल्ड एनजीओ, एनजीओस मे बी फ्रॉम अ ट्रस्ट और अ सोसाइटी और सो, बट all have got legal identity, but companies act में ये है कि you are far more regulated,
Okay.
and it becomes far more recognized. तो इस मामले में हम लोग सेक्शन 8 कंपनी है। और 2021 में जिस टाइम हम लोग जब ये लॉ ये रेगुलेशन जब नोटिफाई हुआ, तो हम लोग मिनिस्ट्री में बैठे थे, तो मिनिस्ट्री के लोगों ने हमसे कहा कि आपका नाम तो बायोलॉजिकल एग्री सॉल्यूशंस है,
ओके
ठीक है, तो बात आप सिर्फ बायोस्टिमुलेंट की कर रहे हैं, तो आप बायो फर्टिलाइजर, बायो पेस्टिसाइड क्यों नहीं करते? सो दैट्स व्हेन वी took over under our umbrella also all biologicals, including plant growth regulators and semiochemicals. Semiochemicals are pheromones वगैरह जो होते हैं, those chemicals. So that's how the journey began. I mean, today BASAI is, I'm extremely proud of saying that पूरे देश में जितने भी स्टेक होल्डर्स हैं, किसी के हमारे एसोसिएशन के मेंबर हों, किसी और एसोसिएशन के मेंबर हों, किसी एसोसिएशन के मेंबर ना भी हों, तो वो लोग उम्मीद करते हैं कि अगर कोई क्लैरिफिकेशन मिल सकती है तो बसाई दे सकती है।
That I have seen also.
So
because some of the organizations, like the associations, I have also been, and I can see the help coming from there.
So they approach us. We are very good at what we do, and I said, I mean, I've worked with across the industry a lot. The only difference over here was that the fertilizer industry was also involved. So that came as a feather in the cap coming across.
So it is very nice to hear about your personal journey, how you have started and how you are here now. So before starting the technical sessions, I have few questions which I'd like to ask you.
Sure.
First question is about अगर कोई young consultant है who is entering into the Indian consultancy services, and India में Indian consultancy everybody looks forward, and in India free only, कि यार ये 2-3 पेज का तो रिपोर्ट है यार, इतना क्या मांग लिया यार, इतना क्या है बता दे। तो हाउ टू चेंज दैट एनवायरनमेंट, हाउ टू चेंज योर सेल्फ एंड हाउ टू चेंज योर थिंग्स विद द इंडस्ट्री?
देखो सुपल, ऐसा है कि जिस टाइम मैंने इंडस्ट्री छोड़ी और कंसल्टेंसी में आया, सो एज आई सेड इट वाज जस्ट अ चांस कि मैं आई वाज हायर्ड एज ऑन अ रिटर्नशिप बेसिस। तो कंसल्टेंट्स 2 टाइप के थे, और काफ़ी कंसल्टेंट्स मेरे दोस्त भी थे। दे नेवर वांटेड मी टू कम इनटू कंसल्टेंसी, क्योंकि वो कंपटीशन हो जाता है। लेकिन और जनरली कंसल्टेंट्स क्या हैं कि आप, जैसे मैंने कहा, प्रोजेक्ट बेस ले लिया, आपका काम है, आपका काम करा लिया, आपसे पैसा लिया, दोज आर द मोस्ट सक्सेसफुल वंस, राइट? Many things happen in that kind of consultancy which should not be spoken about, right? और वहाँ कंसल्टेंट्स बदनाम होते हैं। मेरे 2 गुरु रहे हैं, I'll share with you, जो गुरु मंत्र जो रहा है, जो गुरु रहे हैं मेरे, एक उस ज़माने में कंसल्टेंट होते थे डॉक्टर मोहन राव।
ओके।
ही वॉज अ कमर्शियल कंसल्टेंट एंड अ टेक्निकल कंसल्टेंट।
ओके।
तो वो टेक्निकल कंसल्टेंसी या टेक्निकल अपनी एडवाइस जो गवर्नमेंट को देते थे ना, दे स्टिल रिफ्लेक्ट इन द लेजिस्लेशन।
वेरी नाइस।
ओके, इन द रेगुलेशंस। जैसे एक्सपोर्ट के लिए टॉक्स डाटा फ्रॉम अदर ऑथेंटिक गवर्नमेंट सोर्सेज विल बी एक्सेप्टेबल।
ओके
ओके, राइट।
अंडरस्टूड।
सो ऐसे चीज़ें उन्होंने वो बहुत की। दूसरे एक हमारे एक कंसल्टेंट थे डॉक्टर एच.एल. बामी करके।
ओके।
तो बामी साहब वाज द फाउंडर डायरेक्टर ऑफ द फोरेंसिक इंस्टीट्यूट इन इंडिया।
वेरी नाइस।
ओके, सो ही ऑल्सो बिकेम अ कंसल्टेंट इन द इंडस्ट्री। वो दूसरे टाइप के भी कंसल्टेंट, ही वाज अगेन अ टेक्निकल कंसल्टेंट, he was on board on various committees and all that kind of stuff. Why I'm trying to tell you is this is where I came from then.
Understood.
So they had these things, and one thing about Dr. H.L. Bami which I learned this was that historical documentation is very important to be in your possession. Okay?
Okay.
So there was this review committee happening. I was working with UPL, and they asked me to go over and bring some report from him, and while giving that report, he held the report. So we were both like, it was a tug of war. अब आप दे दीजिएगा, नहीं मैं नहीं दूंगा अभी. So while giving that thing, he said me one thing very clear. He said, Vipin, this document is available across the country, across everybody in the industry has it.
Okay.
But today when the industry needs, they need it because only I have it readily available.
Yes, yes.
You know, understand that thing? So Dr. Mohan Rao was a technical consultant, basically, and Dr. H.L. Bami was another technical consultant. So I took that route. So initially in my career, I did consultancy on, getting products registered. But one thing was there, I was never on project basis. I have worked entirely in my life in consultancy as a retainership.
Okay.
So monthly retainerships come. You have a work in the month or not, that's not my problem.
Okay.
You have 100 things to discuss, I'm there because I'm on your payroll. But I'm not your employee, right?
Okay.
So that model worked for me. Clients come, clients go over the period. You make good money, you don't make that much money.
So with this retainership, you were with one company at a time or 3-4 companies?
No, 3-4 companies because it's non-exclusive. No?
Non-exclusive.
Non-exclusive.
Okay. And one more thing I want to ask you, like in corporate, you have also worked. Regulatory affair person, the job role is not so rewarded compared to sales and other things.
Yeah.
So a person who is going into the regulatory affairs, what advice you would have and कैसे grow करें, कैसे अपने आप को limelight में लाएं और कैसे हम आगे बढ़ें?
See, regulatory is totally different. Regulatory part is essential for any product to be brought into the market.
Yes.
The marketing team, the sales team of a company cannot sell anything, any agri input, until unless it's registered.
पर सर ताली सेल्स और मार्केटिंग टीम के लिए पड़ती है.
सी वो ऐसा होता है कि आपने प्रोडक्ट रजिस्टर कराया, हेल्प की कंपनी को प्रोडक्ट रजिस्टर करने के, और उसके बाद जो पार्टियां शुरू होती है ना, वो मार्केटिंग और सेल्स लेवल पे होती है. वो लॉन्च पार्टीज होती हैं, और वो रेगुलेटरी वाले पर्सन को कोई पूछता भी नहीं है, वो टीम को कोई नहीं पूछता. कोई ज़्यादा होगा तो कोई वो की चेन वगैरह पकड़ा देंगे कि भाई ये वो उसमें छपा. It's a thankless party, but it's a thankless job. It's a thankless job. Time coming to it's a thankless job because even the companies do perceive that regulatory affairs or registrations do not bring in money directly. Yes. It's the sales team and that thing that come across. But what they don't try to understand that everybody is hand in glove. जब तक ये काम नहीं होगा
तब तक माल नहीं बिकेगा.
वो माल ना बन सकता है ना बिकेगा. ठीक है ना. तो इट्स अ थैंकलेस जॉब अगेन. बट ये है कि जो नए लोग हैं, अगर आप एग्री एंटरप्रेन्योर्स के, अगर मैं एग्रीकल्चर ग्रेजुएट्स की बात करूं, और
एग्रीकल्चर नॉन एग्रीकल्चर
नॉन ग्रेजुएट्स है ना, तो एग्रीकल्चर ग्रेजुएट्स में इशू क्या है कि उनका वो फोकस जो है ना, बड़ा माइंडसेट लिमिटेड रहता है. वो क्रॉप, पेस्ट और अगर सॉइल का एग्रोनॉमी का है तो वो सॉइल के बारे में सोच रहा होगा. he'll just be focused across that. और ग्रेजुएशन में और पोस्ट ग्रेजुएशन में लेजिस्लेशन के ऊपर हार्डली एक आधा लेक्चर होता है. जो कि कोई इतना ध्यान नहीं देता कि मैंने उसमें क्या करना. लेकिन उसमें आज की तारीख में अगर आप नौकरी नहीं करके भी अगर आप कंसल्टेंसी में जाना चाहते हैं, तो अगर आप उस चीज़ को सीरियस ले लें, आप एक लेजिस्लेशन को भी सीरियसली पढ़ लें. हालांकि एक से बात बनती नहीं है. ठीक है, वो क्यों नहीं बनती वो भी मैं बताता हूँ. एक एग्री प्रोडक्ट को, एग्रोकेमिकल प्रोडक्ट को मार्केट में लाने के लिए कम से कम 6 से 7 मिनिस्ट्रीज जुड़ी होती हैं, 17 से 18 लेजिस्लेशंस लगते हैं उसके ऊपर. ओके. और ऑन गोइंग कंसल्टेशंस चल रही होती हैं.
राइट.
और जो अथॉरिटीज हैं वो भी अनगिनत है. सो आई मीन
नेशनल लेवल पे अलग, स्टेट लेवल पे अलग.
आप नेशनल लेवल पे ही लीजिएगा. आपने पेस्टिसाइड को रजिस्टर किया, वो तो इंसेक्टिसाइड एक्ट के अंदर आ गया. अब उसमें जो लेबल जो बनाना है उसमें लीगल मेट्रोलॉजी आ गई.
यस.
आपने उसकी फैक्ट्री लगानी है तो मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ केमिकल्स आ गई.
यस. आपने
उसको एक्सपोर्ट करना है तो मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ कॉमर्स और अपीडा आ गया. आपने वो उसकी फैक्ट्री लगानी तो आपको पोल्यूशन कंट्रोल बोर्ड को भी लेना है साथ में, बहुत सेंट्रल स्टेट लेवल पे, ठीक है। तो ऐसे एमआरएल की ज़रूरत है तो एफएसएसआई है जो पहले प्रिवेंशन ऑफ फूड एडल्ट्रेशन एक्ट के अंडर जो होता था। तो ऐसे मैं आपको आई कैन गिव यू द होल लिस्ट कि डायरेक्टली इनडायरेक्टली हाउ मेनी पीपल आर, हाउ मेनी लेजिस्लेशंस आर अबाउट, हाउ मेनी मिनिस्ट्रीज आर। तो उन सब के बारे में जो नॉन एग्रीकल्चर ग्रेजुएट्स होते ना, उनका फोकस थोड़ा सा ब्रॉडर होता है, दे आर मोर ओपन टुवर्ड्स न्यू थिंग्स, you know, they're more open to it. I don't mind accepting that. Many agriculture graduates probably may not agree with me, but that's the fact. We have got a better viewpoint of how to do things, and we won't shy away from doing something that is not in our ambit because we had nothing in our ambit anyway, you know. So that's how things happened. I carved a niche in just mastering the insecticide. I starting giving lectures. I was fortunate to be one on the trainers under the trainers training program in IPFT Gurgaon, Institute for Pesticide Formulation Technology. So, I mean, yes, I mean, you're attending new conferences and all. You go there as a listener first, and then you go as a speaker, and then probably as a moderator, and now things change. But the basic thing is, like what you were saying, that it's taken off कि आपने क्या consultancy दे दी, आपसे पूछा ही था ना कैसे करना है। तो अगर लॉयर से पूछोगे तो वो 10 मिनट के भी तुमसे चार्ज करेगा, राइट, ठीक है। लेकिन रेगुलेटरी में ऐसा नहीं है, लोग वाग समझते हैं कि मैंने सिर्फ ये पूछा ही था ना, तूने मेरा काम क्या करके दिया, राइट। उस चीज में मेरा एक मत है कि एज अ कंसल्टेंट इफ यू वांट टू परस्यू, द मोर यू एक्सप्लेन, द मोर यू प्रैक्टिस योरसेल्फ, द मोर परफेक्ट यू बिकम। अंडरस्टूड, ठीक है। आपने मेरे से कोई चीज पूछी, मैंने आपको खुल के बताया। जो लोग इंसेक्टिसाइड एक्ट में जानते हैं, मैंने आपने मेरे से पूछा 9(3) क्या है, 9(3)B है, 9(4), मैंने आपको सारा समझा दिया है। अब नाउ आई थ्रो अ सार्केस्टिक क्वेश्चन, अगर आप इंटेलिजेंट हैं, इफ यू आर इंटेलिजेंट एनफ, तो तुम मेरे कहे पे जो मैंने तुम्हें बताया ना, तुम ऑलरेडी यू विल स्टार्ट मेकिंग मनी। अंडरस्टूड। एंड इफ यू आर नॉट इंटेलिजेंट एनफ टू absorb what I have told you, then you'll come back again to me, na? To pay again. Then you come back to me again. Yes. So when you come back to me again, so I will only talk when you pay me, na? Yes. So again, whatever you do as an agri entrepreneur, जो कि basic concept what you're trying to locate as, develop a niche market. Niche markets are the best. If you want to go कि जो दुनिया कर रही है मैं भी वो कर लूं, then there's a cut throat like I've seen in consultancy, one consultant is charging probably 20,000, just an example. वही काम करने के लिए एक 10,000 ले रहा है, एक वही काम करने के लिए वो 500 में भी हो रहा है। Now what level of work is being done, but what level, what time, that depends, that matters. And then you are looking at something else. अब आपने मेरे से कहा कि मुझे ये एक पेस्टिसाइड रजिस्टर कराना है, मेरे को एज अ कंसल्टेंट मैं कहूँगा हाँ आप मेरे को, मैं आपका काम कर देता हूँ, ठीक है। अब आपको ये नहीं पता कि वो जो पेस्टिसाइड है वो बैन होने वाला है, राइट, या बैन हो चुका है, राइट, अभी रजिस्ट्रेशन मिल रहे हैं। तो मैंने क्या किया, मैंने तो आपसे पैसा ले लिया, लेकिन अगर मैं कंसल्टेंट दूसरे टाइप का हूँ, एक टेक्निकल, मैं आपसे कहूँगा आप इसमें सोच तो रहे हैं, आप इसमें इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हैं, पर ये गवर्नमेंट की पॉलिसीज आई हैं लेटेस्ट, आप पहले इसको पढ़ लीजिएगा, आपको उचित लगे तो आगे बढ़िएगा, नहीं उचित लगे तो आप इसका अल्टरनेट देखिएगा, राइट, यू नो। सो दैट्स टाइम सेविंग, मनी सेविंग, और वो पीपल को रियलाइज होना चाहिए कि कहाँ पे कैसे क्या होता है। और बिफोर वी स्टार्ट द टेक्निकल सेशन, 2 हैबिट्स और 2 क्वालिटीज व्हाट मेड यू सिट हियर, सर? I'll say my passion. I've always followed my passion. And 2 is inspiration, which lended a hand to my passion. So that's the thing. I've already told you about my 2 mentors. I deeply regard. I also regard my father a lot. He was a government employee and 3 times secretary CME and RC. And one day he was a chairperson of a UPSC committee for selection of some, right? So he came back home. I'm just telling you a very candid way. You learn from everything. So he came back and I just served him water and I said, Dad, आप लोग इंटरव्यू में पूछते क्या हैं? तो छूटते मेरे फादर ने पता क्या कहा, जब आप इंटरव्यू में बैठेंगे ना तो आपको पता चल जाएगा. So that kind of learning is that, I mean, I didn't have that kind of support from probably my father, but I learned a lot from what was to be learned on your own. So that's the thing. So just follow your passion. If you think of something, don't try to follow the folk, the flock. Just try to do it differently. Add something कि क्या है,
वैल्यू क्या दे सकते हैं.
वो पेस्टिसाइड बिकते हैं, एक ही पेस्टिसाइड 1000 कंपनियां बेचती हैं, सबकी मार्केटिंग टेक्निक्स अलग है. आपको अपने आप को, you should know how to sell yourself is what I may say.
Understood.
So you need to be seen across differently.
Understood.
That's all.
So thank you, and now we'll start with the technical session.
Sure.
So हम technical session sir इस तरह से करेंगे. I'll talk few questions regulatory affairs से लेके. Since I'm very privileged that you know all the three industries, seed, crop protection and crop nutrition. हम तीनों के लिए सेम चीज पूछेंगे और आप तीनों के लिए बताते जाएं, so that people can understand. Second thing, people who are maybe in crop nutrition sector and they can understand crop protection also, and with this podcast they might start finger into crop protection also or seed also. They can diversify also. It will be our privilege of this podcast.
Sure.
So we hope for that. So सबसे पहले, like for FCO is there for crop nutrition. So for like this pesticide, seed and crop nutrition के लिए, what are the laws here in India?
See, they are interrelated in many manners. Okay. अगर आप इंसेक्टिसाइड एक्ट देखेंगे तो वहाँ आपको केमिकल पेस्टिसाइड्स और बायोलॉजिकल क्रॉप प्रोटेक्शन प्रोडक्ट्स मिलेंगे. बायोलॉजिकल क्रॉप प्रोटेक्शन प्रोडक्ट्स 2 सेगमेंट्स में हैं.
ओके.
एक सेगमेंट वो है जो बोटैनिकल नेचर के हैं.
ओके.
दे फॉलो मोर और लेस द सेम रूट ऑफ केमिकल वंस.
ओके.
राइट. एक माइक्रोबियल है, जो माइक्रोबियल एग्री इनपुट्स हैं उनको थोड़ा सा बेनिफिट है. गवर्नमेंट ने उसको एक आपको दे रखा है, क्या कहते हैं, एडवांटेज दे रखा है. लेसर टाइम फॉर लेसर डाटा, लेसर टाइम में आपको रजिस्ट्रेशन मिल जाता है.
ओके.
एंड यू गेट अ प्रोविजनल रजिस्ट्रेशन फॉर अप टू 4 years. ओके.
ओके.
और उनको प्रायोरिटी भी मिलती है. सो एक तो ये हो गया. लेकिन इंसेक्टिसाइड्स एक्ट में ही सीड ट्रीटमेंट भी है.
ओके.
ओके. सो उसको भी प्रायोरिटी है. So there are many pesticides which are used for other purposes also, but can also be used for seed treatment, seed coating के लिए.
Understood.
Okay. तो उस केस में तो इंसेक्टिसाइड्स एक्ट आ गया.
Okay.
अगर आप फर्टिलाइजर न्यूट्रिएंट जो आप प्रोडक्ट्स कह रहे हैं तो उसमें फर्टिलाइजर्स आ गए,
FCO आ गया,
तो वो FCO आ गया. FCO में ही आपके अब आ गए बायोलॉजिकल बायो फर्टिलाइजर्स भी आ गए.
राइट.
तो बायो फर्टिलाइजर्स कौन से हैं? आज तक जितने बायो फर्टिलाइजर्स नोटिफाई किए हैं, दे आर ऑल माइक्रोबियल्स.
ओके.
सो माइक्रोबियल्स, नाउ लेट मी टेल यू व्हाट द प्रॉब्लम विद माइक्रोबियल्स इज. अ माइक्रोबियल कैन एक्सप्रेस इटसेल्फ एज अ बायोपेस्टिसाइड, एज अ बायोफर्टिलाइजर एंड एज अ बायोस्टिमुलेंट.
ओके. यस.
द वेरी थिन लाइन ऑफ डिमार्केशन.
यस.
तो वो आप पे डिपेंड करता है आपने किस टाइप का लेबल क्लेम लेना है, किस तरह से वो प्रोडक्ट बेचना है, उसकी रिक्वायरमेंट्स अलग अलग हैं. ठीक है. अभी जैसे नैनो फर्टिलाइजर भी आ गया है इसके अंदर, ऑर्गेनिक. अब तो ये हो गया जो आपका ऑर्गेनिक मैन्योर भी इज बीइंग रेगुलेटेड, है ना. सीड इंडस्ट्री में, सीड इंडस्ट्री इज रेगुलेटेड बाय द सीड लॉ.
ओके.
नाउ बोथ दीज लॉज, सीड लॉ एंड इंसेक्टिसाइड्स एक्ट, आर वेरी ओल्ड.
ओके.
दे आर वेरी ओल्ड. ओके. And there is a need to replace them, and there are bills already going on for the past 20 years.
Okay, for the past 20
years have not been passed by the parliament due to various concerns of the industry and the politicians and things like that. So the seed bill is still pending and the pesticide management bill is still pending, right? They have been probably redrafted a couple of times. They've also been assigned to the parliamentary standing committee in agriculture. तो जो इंडस्ट्री जो आप कह रहे हैं ना कि probably nutrient वाले crop protection में आना है, तो this thing has already started happening.
Yes, it is happening.
For the
already.
past 10 years now, this started happening, and this was basically triggered by the probable banning of chemical pesticides in Europe. So all multinationals were on the spree of biological, छोटी छोटी कंपनियां खरीदनी, ये करना, अपना पोर्टफोलियो में डालना. पहले होता था इंटीग्रेटेड पेस्ट मैनेजमेंट, ठीक है, फिर आया इंटीग्रेटेड क्रॉप मैनेजमेंट, फिर आया इंटीग्रेटेड न्यूट्रिएंट मैनेजमेंट. तो उस सब चक्कर में क्रॉप मैनेजमेंट लेके सब लोग चले, कि राइट फ्रॉम बीज से लेके क्रॉप प्रोटेक्शन से लेके न्यूट्रिएंट को लेके हार्वेस्ट तक वो सारा का सारा पोर्टफोलियो उसमें आ जाए. यू अंडरस्टैंड? सो नाउ आज की डेट में अगर आप कहेंगे कि ये कंपनी सिर्फ पेस्टिसाइड बनाती है, या ये कंपनी सिर्फ फर्टिलाइजर बनाती है, या ये कंपनी सिर्फ सीड में डील करती है, देयर इज नो सच कंपनी दैट डज सो. ऑल ऑफ देम आर हैंड्स इन ग्लव्स. किसी का सिस्टर कंसर्न खुला होगा, बट एवरीबडी इज डूइंग एवरी काइंड ऑफ बिजनेस, एंड व्हाइल देयर सेल्स पर्सन गो इन द फील्ड, दे गिव यू अ कंप्लीट सोल्यूशन.
यस,
हमारा बीज, हमारा क्रॉप प्रोटेक्शन, हमारा फर्टिलाइजर, हमारा न्यूट्रिएंट, बायोस्टिमुलेंट हो, कुछ भी हो. Or that's how the industry is now working across, and this is also probably all due to the not only the national concerns but also the global concerns on industrial revolution, or the green revolution in India, or industrialization of agriculture across the globe. Let us place it that way. So there were health concerns, there are environmental concerns and all that kind of stuff. So to mitigate that thing, now biologicals have come across, and if you see अपने मोदी साहब के कई इनिशिएटिव है, पीएम प्रणाम है, जहाँ पे 50% बायो फर्टिलाइजर्स को इस्तेमाल करके स्टेट्स को वो 50% की एक्स्ट्रा सब्सिडी मिलती है, ठीक है. फिर परंपरागत कृषि विकास योजना है ऑर्गेनिक फार्मिंग को करने के लिए. फिर प्राकृतिक कृषि पद्धति है नेचुरल फार्मिंग के लिए. सो दे आर ऑल पार्ट एंड पार्सल ऑफ दिस होल गैमेट ऑफ ट्राइंग टू मिटिगेट. और आप ये देखिएगा कि एक टाइम था ग्रीन रेवोल्यूशन में व्हेन वी वर लुकिंग टुवर्ड्स फूड सिक्योरिटी, एंड वी अटेन्ड फूड सिक्योरिटी समटाइम in the early millennium. We were tagged as food secure, that thing. And then later on, if 10 years down the line probably, or 15 years down the line, अब गवर्नमेंट बात कर रही है न्यूट्रिशनल सिक्योरिटी की.
न्यूट्रिशनल सिक्योरिटी
क्यों? क्योंकि जो पैदावार है उसमें न्यूट्रिशन नहीं है.
यस, किसी में जिंक की कमी है, किसी में कुछ कमी है,
बस. तो वो अब एवरीथिंग इज बीइंग मिटिगेटेड.
यस यस.
फिर ये क्लाइमेट चेंज का है. नाउ द अब्रप्ट क्लाइमेट है, तो जो पौधा ऐसे उगता था, इस टाइम बारिश होती थी, वो नहीं आ रही. ड्रॉट सिचुएशंस है, तो ऐसे ये बायोलॉजिकल या ये एग्री इनपुट्स ऐसे आ गए हैं which help mitigate or support the plant in fighting off, warding off both the biotic and abiotic stresses. So the whole world is working together now, I'll say. आज की डेट में कोई कंपनी नहीं कह सकती कि मैं केमिकल इंडस्ट्री का हूँ या मैं बायोलॉजिकल का हूँ.
It's a hands-on.
Everybody's in it together.
Another question is that if a new company has to register a product, say for example seed, pesticide and nutrition sector, what are the basic steps and how much time it takes?
Okay, now this will require in two steps, two categories. Let us just bifurcate that thing. One is a company based out of India.
Okay. First we'll talk about the company based in India.
And then there's a foreign company. That's right. So when I say based in India, again that can be subcategorized.
Okay.
One is a pure Indian company.
Okay.
Right. So obviously the step one will be, as I said earlier in my talk, that there are about 6-7 ministries,
yes.
18 or so legislation. So that's where everything comes across. So that's where the whole thing, the gamut comes across. So when you have to register a company, that's the very first step.
Yes.
You know, establishing your company. When you establish a company, whether it's 100% individually owned or stakeholder proprietors and all,
whatever is there,
or whether it's an invested company, it's a 60-40 ratio or 51-49 ratio with foreign investment, that is there. So once those formalities are complete with all the necessary regulatory compliance on establishing a company is there in India. And let us take a notch further. Let us try to address both of them simultaneously.
Okay.
So in case of a foreign company, they have to look into an Indian company for a joint venture or so. Foreign companies now can also do direct investment now. Nowadays,
Okay.
it's also possible. Earlier, it wasn't, right? So those formalities have to be completed in according to the law of the land,
Okay.
in India. So they have to, deal with all that kind of stuff. So once the company identity has been formed, right, and the company chooses to go into any specific agri input,
Okay.
like you placed in pesticides or fertilizers
Or
or
seeds.
right? So depending upon the nature of their business, right, then they have to choose which product they're looking at.
Okay.
And then they need to understand the regulatory scenario of that particular product and the status of that product in India,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So whether it's manufactured domestically
Or imported.
or it is domestic, it is manufactured in India, but the raw materials are being imported, or the N-1 is thing is coming across where the last step is done over here, or is that product being 100% imported, or is it being imported and manufactured in the country? So that's where the play of regulatory affairs comes across. And that is where, in fact, regulatory compliance comes across. So when I talk about regulatory affairs, I practically suggest everything. As I said, you need to have a broader view of how things are done. You need to tell your clients how things can be taken across, right? So once you have identified the agri input that you want, and you also have identified under which legislation that's come across, then you need to have a clear-cut understanding of the product you want to register, its history, how it can be registered, if it's already registered for import or for manufacture, and you want to import it from a different source.
Okay.
So the requirements are different,
Yes. Yes.
right? If it is already there for manufacture, then you may have to follow a different path where there may be a data waiver across, like technical indigenous manufacture for the technical indigenous manufacture under section 9(4). That's a Me Too.
You can
kind of thing.
explain with one example, sir. Any example
yeah,
you can take, so
okay.
that they can understand the
Yeah.
flow, kahan se start ho raha, where it is
Sure,
ending,
sure.
how
So-
much time is being invested, and what are the steps.
See, investment, if you want to bring in a pesticide, any agri input
Okay.
for the first time in the country.
Let's talk about crop
protection.
Crop protection
Well,
first.
okay.
Any one product.
Any one
You can
product.
just say ABC product or something like
Okay,
that.
I can give you a multiple
Real-time
example.
example or
I can give you a
something like that.
multiple example. There was once this product that was introduced in the country known as sulfosulfuron.
Okay.
Okay. Now that was the time when the industrial policy of India was restricted for imports.
Okay.
Okay. So there was these guidelines where you needed, when you applied for a product, the technical application and the formulation application had to be submitted simultaneously.
Okay.
Okay. This was in the case of of imported also and domestic also, right? So sulfosulfuron had a very interesting journey. They followed that policy, but during the liberalization of the industrial policy during Manmohan Singh's time, it was an open for all. Formulation imports were also being allowed.
Understood.
Okay, so that's where the companies, the particular company, went across to the policymakers to frame a new policy for registering that product under formulation import.
Understood.
Okay, so that is the one product that was registered 3 types by the same company: technical import, formulation indigenous manufacture, and formulation import.
Understood.
Okay. So then Indian companies had the advantage of data bridging, lesser data to be submitted, and went in for technical indigenous manufacture. Now in that case also, at that point of time, there were 2 sessions: technical indigenous manufacture 9(3), which was the first time technical indigenous manufacture, or the technical indigenous manufacture subsequent one under section 9(4) of the Insecticides Act. Now the difference is that when a pesticide is registered XYZ, be it domestic or imported, you have to provide every single piece of data on toxicology.
Okay.
It has to be acute, which is a short-term one. It has to be subacute, which is a mid-term studies. Then it has to be chronic, carcinogenicity, reproductive studies. Synergistic effects need to be taken across. Occupational hazards were also being, the spray operator studies were also being done at that point of time. Nowadays, the regulation no longer allows that. Dog studies at one point of time were there, right? So that used to cost in millions.
Yes.
Now that kind of money was not available in the Indian industry kitty at that point of time, So that's why Make in India and other things. Make in India wasn't popular at that point of time, but it was the same in the same spirit. Okay, so those things were there, and they cost about a couple of $1 million, or so, and very rightly so, because out of probably 1,000 molecules tested, only one comes out or two come out as a crop protection product, right? So, but then subsequent registrations are there. So again, it depends upon the company, what kind of thing. They want to bring in a product for the first time. They want to bring in a product for the a subsequent product. They want to try their luck in data bridging, getting certain data waivers on that kind of thing. So it used to take at one point of time 8 to 9 years.
8 to 9 years.
For registration.
And now it has been reduced to how much average?
So average 4 to 5. Not much difference has come across. But if you take across 8 to 9 years, that was basically from data generation to multi-locational, multi-seasonal, 3 saal, 3.5 saal.
And then when the company do that, the rights are with that company for how many years?
Once you submit the data to the regulatory authorities, you don't have any rights on it unless your product is patented.
Okay.
Anybody can apply for that product. Depending upon the category they are looking at, they may have to invest on limited amount of data to be generated. Otherwise, it's a free for all. And that's the drawback in India. Okay, unless your product is patented.
But people have another side of story also. They say that if that product and the technology is with that company only, they'll be minting money like anything, and the farmer will not be given a due price. If you open that market,
unless
there
it's
would
patented.
be a good competition.
Unless it's patented.
Okay.
Unless it's patented. And earlier, there was this provision of provisional registration for any product, chemical or biological. Nowadays, it's restricted to biologicals only due to the JPC report on pesticides in soft drinks, wherein no pesticide can be registered without an MRL, a maximum residue limit. So prior to that, multinationals were having a heyday. They were registering products under provisional registration, enjoying it for 6 years, 8 years, 10 years. I can quote you many examples, but probably that will...
But now what has happened? How it has changed?
If you see in the crop protection, depending on the category, it can vary from even, I may say, 3 months to 6 years or 7 years.
Okay.
Depending on the category. If you want a Me Too kind of registration, it's online. All you have to do is fill an online form. You get an approval and you get an online certificate.
Yes.
So it's as simple as that.
Yes.
In the seed industry, whatever you want to do, the seed has to be tried and tested in India.
Okay.
See, all efficacy trials need to be tried and tested in India under the ICR system and or the SAU, State Agriculture Universities. Okay. So in case of seed, if you've ever seen a seed gazette, when seed varieties are notified, they are tested across the country or wherever they are suitable to grow. And the approval is given state-wise that this seed is viable in this state or in this state or this district of the state.
Okay.
So that's the pain point over there. It has to be tried. It has the one seed cannot be grown anywhere. I mean, agroclimatic.
So many things are there.
The scenario kicks in and all that kind of stuff. Now, if you talk about GMOs and all,
yes.
So GMOs is a big no for edible crops, right?
Yes.
So was the case with GM brinjal, and the latest with GM mustard has also fallen apart. and all due to the terminator genes coming across and all. And if you see the BT cotton, which is 90% of the cotton grown in the country currently,
Yes.
the second generation has never come.
Okay.
Due to varietal rights and all that
Yes,
kind of
yes.
stuff. And the government of India felt that the companies which are portraying new traits, which are GM traits, do not have the right to, so there's a price fixation out over there. Okay. In pesticides or in crop protection products, there's no price fixation.
Yes.
One, that's the difference. Seeds, there's a price fixation in case it is of GM trait.
Yes.
Okay. No edible GM traits have so far been done. Now people have gone around in seeds. So rather than calling it GM modified, the genetically modified seeds, now they take the gene edited route.
Okay. Editing of the gene only.
So it's basically the same thing.
thing only.
It's an eyewash. Let me openly say it's an eyewash. And they're using the same technology but with a different name, and now it's being allowed from a different route. In fertilizers or nutrients, what you're trying to say, their fertilizers have got multi-locational trials, only efficacy is required.
Yes.
Bearing nano fertilizers, which now also involves high level of chronic and subchronic toxicological evaluation. Okay. Biostimulants is restricted only to toxicology and efficacy ones, single season, and biofertilizers and other kind of fertilizers also are the same thing. Again, it can take anywhere from 2 to 3 years to 1 year or 1.5 years you can get approvals. In case of biostimulants, since it's an evolving regulation, it's taking time, but I believe the ministry has done excellent improvement in that field, and things are slowly getting in the in the line. Yeah.
And one more thing I want to ask, when like just G1, G2 came, like the small entrepreneur who was running his shop, he got like perturbed with the expenses of the toxicology studies and everything. He said, "मैं कैसे अपनी इतना मैं invest कर पाऊँगा?" So what is your take on
Okay,
that, sir?
so there I'll just like to tell you that what G1, G2, G3 was. So when the biostimulants came across, the government came up with a very wise decision. They said that those products which were being sold in the country 3 years prior to the Gazette being notified, which was notified on 23rd Feb 2021, those products were allowed to be sold. All they had to do was to get a no objection certificate from the state government, which was in the form of G2.
Okay. Yes.
That this product is being sold in their state for past 3 years, and it does not show any and has not expressed any human or livestock or environmental negative effect on that part. And that certificate, state certificate, was attached by those people in a form G1. So G1 was actually an application to attain a provisional registration which was issued in the form of G3. So people,
Yes.
it's very slightly confusing. Many people refer only G3 and G2 and all that, but actually G1 in between that is helping you align your G2
With the G3.
for getting the G3.
Yes.
Right? And then Form G is for permanent registration for people who were able to generate data for new products which were not there prior, or even which were there but had to be regularized because they have to be included in Schedule 6 of the FCO. Now, coming to your question that some people, too much of cost, and see, regulations come at a cost. Every industrialist, be it small or big, needs to understand that thing. Regulation will come at a cost.
But MSME feels that only the big boys, multinationals can pay that, and then they will rule the market.
Let me give you a controversial thing. I don't know whether your audience is going to like it, but if you've ever seen an SME and an MSME, you know how many farmhouses and how many damn big cars those guys ride? Do you think they're poor? Give me a straight answer to that. Do you think they're poor? No, they're not poor. But they are an SME and MSME. I know many people personally.
Yes.
And I've stated it even in the ministries. You cannot call them poor. Poor you can call that person. I happen to help a person who sold only 200 liters or kgs of a product in the past 3 years prior to the regulation. Okay? He and his wife in a small room were probably mixing something and they were doing a good business. They were doing something. After getting a G3 on his product, he has been selling 1 to 2 metric tons and annually. Can you imagine the power of regulation? Now, that same person has generated data. Why? Because he could afford to do so. Now, in biostimulants, what happened was that people were making concoctions in various ratios and selling everything. Yes. Now the time had to come to make up the decision which products you want to continue with and which you want to discontinue it. For that legislation. But then even based on the initial data being submitted by the industry, the ministry waived off toxicological evaluation later on. Okay, so that thing was clear. That happened in 2024 only.
Yes.
That happened in 2024 only. That was based on whatever data was submitted. So MSMEs should be encouraged. I'm not saying that thing. But then regulation will come at a cost. You cannot pick up everything for free. I've got many friends in the MSE and SME and MSE sector. I support them wholeheartedly. But when it comes to compliance, everybody has to comply by it. There's no excuse to non-compliance on that.
One more challenge is there, like in India is a diversified country. Again, I'll talk about the entrepreneur. He'll register one product in one state. Then again, he goes to the another state. Even if the product is notified by FCO, he has to register there. Yeah. So don't you see this as a problem when the same product is there?
If you talk about an entrepreneur, as I said, he needs to choose his path. So the path is two-way.
It's not about, it's about anything, like entrepreneur, anybody who's anybody.
So when you talk about central compliance, regulatory compliance, it's very plain and simple.
Yes.
It's centralized. Okay. So now after having complied with the central, then you go to the state.
I have a registration of my products in crop nutrition under FCO in Gujarat. Now I want to go to Maharashtra. The requirement of the Maharashtra government or any other government will change differently or drastically with the other states also.
Yes, it's not synchronized.
So we should have a centralized mechanism for registering a product, and a company who wants to venture into different states should have a mechanism so that time can be saved.
Yeah, that's totally agreeable. I totally accept that thing. It takes about 3 to 4, 6 months to get a product registered in each state. And then there's a language problem. Let us place that thing. Also.
Practically.
That's where the niche comes in.
So that's where the niche. It's a podcast. We are discussing very openly.
No. That's where the niche comes in. And an entrepreneur can master his expertise in regulatory compliance within a state.
Yes, that is where the consultants come into picture.
And an agri entrepreneur can be anywhere.
Yes.
So all he has to do is to hire that person to get the job done, or he can tend to watch into the whole venture himself, which is not advisable because there are red tapes and things.
Everything is there.
The whole gamut of getting a regulatory compliance kicks in. Okay, various sectors. So that's where the whole thing comes. I've seen many consultants. Again, if you want to not call them consultants, but agripreneurs who are functional in only 2-3 states. They've got a network over there. They know how to do it. Yes. They know how to get studies done over there if required. They know everybody in the government officials, departments and all the kind of stuff. So they're there to help you out. Okay.
Yes.
So there's nothing new about it. But then again, you need to master it.
But what my question is, say for example, I have a registration of product called, say for example, bentonite sulfur. I am selling in Gujarat. Now I want to expand my business in Maharashtra.
Yeah.
So again, I have to do repeated exercises of getting a registration there.
That is a regulatory...
Where the product is notified by the government of India, the
Okay, yeah.
So that's why my question is,
So
it
the
takes money,
question
it takes
is-
time.
Yeah, it will take
It's not
time.
about the small corporate, it's about the big
See,
corporate also.
It will take time. It takes time for everybody, right? It's manageable by small
Yes.
companies, right? The cost is huge, right? And that is why in the past couple of years, the industry is voicing its concerns towards to address the same issue by one product, one registration, one license across
Yes.
the country. So that is in the ambit. So how far we get success is another thing, because you need to understand that legislations are enacted by the central government,
Yes.
but are given the true meaning of its procedural
Or
implementation,
practical implementation
by the state government. And agriculture under the constitution is a state subject. So that's where everybody wants to do it. What could have been done, what can be done by the central government is, and which BASAI is also very passionately working across, is to at least have the requirements synchronized. Each state should have a same set of guidance document for regulatory compliance.
Now, before we move on to the rapid fire, I will quickly ask three, four questions, and you answer in two lines only.
Okay.
First is that, as a regulatory affairs, you have seen what is the main challenge seen in the industry, seed industry, crop protection, and plant nutrition, which is the major challenge you see nowadays when you go across the various conferences, you meet people in your BASAI.
Data protection.
Data protection.
Data protection. Innovations are not coming into the country due to data protection, due to non-availability of data protection.
So what is next coming in as a regulatory affair? What you foresee for the next 3 years?
I foresee in the next 5 years that the fertilizer control order may be taken out of the Essential Commodities Act, because there's already a draft in motion,
Okay.
which has been now kept in the cold storage. They say the Integrated Plant Nutrition Management Bill 2022. So I see that thing. I also see that there may be, in a foreseeable future, not 5 years but probably beyond, there may be separate regulatory authorities only for biological agri inputs in the country. That too. And then I don't really foresee achievable in the next 5 years, based on my look around, that import of microbials may be allowed in the country, which is a huge big ban in India, right? But again, I said that there are things where molecules wanted to be brought into India as formulated products, where the government has got its, the huge things, biodiversity concerns and all that kind of stuff. We all respect that thing. But then, I mean, these are the things fighting across. Data protection, as I said, it's a 30-year-old, it's still going on. India is a TRIPS signatory, not a TRIPS plus signatory. So all things are going
in one line, how do you see regulatory affairs? How far we are with the US, EU, China compared to the Indian regulatory affairs?
See, according to the Indian scenario, the Indian way of working, I believe we've done an excellent job. Right? We have never gone by again what the flocks do. Okay, like similar efficacy of agroclimatic zones. No, we have not. We have got our own regulations. We do not follow the EU or the US. We pick up certain things from them from time to time. The world is working towards harmonization. We still have got our own, concerns, based not only because they need to be harmonized, but because based on the very logic whether they are actually required to be adopted in our country or not. Do we need it?
Yes.
I don't have farm, of 2,000 acres or 5,000 acres. I once had one of my father's colleagues coming over, and his son-in-law was a Canadian. And he said his father had a hobby farm, and I was very curious to know what a hobby farm is. How much is it? Anybody having a 2,500 acre farm is known as a hobby farm. Now talk about the Indian scenario. Can you imagine something happening like that? So not necessarily everything is there. And if you talk about Indian agriculture, if I may add upon at this point of time, we have killed Indian agriculture ourselves. We have got small farmers. So from large tractors, we have built small tractors. From doing harvesting manually, we've come into harvesters, everything. And we have only added upon the burden of the farmer, whereas his earning is not that much. And he doesn't even have, the finances to meet those things. This is where agri-entrepreneurs have a huge role and an opportunity. They've got an opportunity. If they're an agriculture graduate, they've got an opportunity to be farmers' advisors in their particular regions, niches they can see. They can understand the crop pattern over there. They can understand the climate. They can understand the kind of products that work over there. So, that thing is what kind of regulatory compliance is required, what kind of products are workable, which companies are more trustworthy or so, and things like that. Give the farmer an appropriate thing. And as I said, there are many things. An agri-entrepreneur can also be working as a designer for agri-input labels.
Yes.
He can start his own industry, packaging industry. There are many things associated. Transport, specific transport of agri-inputs. Everything requires a different thing.
Yes.
So the opportunities are huge. All in all, you need to do. Like you're doing a wonderful job, podcast. So why can't anybody also share their knowledge upon, if they've got good knowledge on agriculture, some particular crop also, he can start his own stuff going on across on that thing. And nowadays, everybody's doing multiple things. I wouldn't suggest any agri-entrepreneur to just stick to one thing.
Yes.
He can go into multiple things.
Because things are changing very fast.
Yeah, drone application, and service centers, advisory, marketing. Marketing is a huge thing. I believe you also do some part of that. So, you're an agri-entrepreneur. You're doing that thing.
And one more thing I want to tell you, I am also like you. I am also not an agri-entrepreneur.
Yeah. So,
I'm from not an agri background. Whatever I have learned, I've learned through the industry.
You've got a broader, you've got a bird's view.
Yes.
So when you've got a bird's view, then you're able to connect to that. But then you need to be smart enough. I usually take, and I'm always denied it in the first instance, whatever happens in the pharma industry will one day happen in the agrochem industry. Nobody believes me. But whatever happened over there happened eventually over here. QR code being compulsory and things, barcodes. So everything's coming across. So things are happening.
There's a huge opportunity. And
huge opportunity. All you need to do is to follow what you want to do. You may be having 5 things you want to do. You may be successful in only 2. Then if you be successful in 2, then you be master of that. No, nothing else than that. Master your subject. Master what your passion is. Master what you want to do. That's the key to a success.
Thank you for this technical session. And we hope that our audience have gained information about the regulatory affair. So let's start with our rapid fire. Who is your professional role model?
I stated earlier, I've been deeply impressed by Dr. Mohan Rao and Dr. H.L. Bami. And of course, my father, who gave me the environment to actually be groomed into that kind of profession. Yeah.
Take us through your daily routine.
Okay, I wake up sometime in the morning. I won't disclose now when. But yeah, the first routine is to do some public service, like I just dig out news of interest from the daily newspapers that I have at my residence, and I just quickly make a PDF and share it across WhatsApp groups. That's the very first thing.
I am also receiving it, many are receiving.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, and then any additional information comes, it's immediately, I don't see whether it's day and night. Even if I get something at 2 o'clock in the night, I'll just share it across. It may be used by somebody, maybe of interest to someone or the other. And then my office starts roughly, say, about 7 o'clock in the morning, with initial emails coming in or calls dropping in.
Yes.
We are not the privileged Western consultants. So we get phones right from early in the morning till late in the evening. But normally it's like a half a day active activity, then a slight pause, and then again working. So I work basically 3 time zones across the globe. So that keeps me, pretty busy. Yeah.
Any particular decision of your career growth you want to go back and change?
No.
Who is your icon in agri industry?
Icon industry, I've got only those two
Yes.
guys. I don't believe any particular industrialist had any impact on me or not. I don't give credit to any industrial CMD or so who may be. I do appreciate the faith they have had in me, all the industry has had in me. But if you talk about role models, no, none of the industrialists, no.
How do you handle your stress and anxiety?
Well, I love cooking. So whenever I'm stressed, I just cook. I mean, I've been cooking since the 8th grade. So my mom taught us well. We're only 2 brothers. So that's about, you talk about any cuisine and I'm into it. Yeah.
So
that's
you
a stress
also watch
buster.
reels and try to cook everything new also?
No. I just do my thing. I don't go into reels or advertise anything. But the passion is there that, again, I said, if you have passion, you go. I mean, many people say that you love cooking. Why did you become a chef? So, well, that's a different story.
So what is your favorite productivity hack?
I love reading. And I love watching a lot of legal series. Boston Legal, Suits. They have been one of my favorites. Then Blacklist. So, and many other movies you can say. So what I try to do is I try to pick up various, phrases that we normally do not use but should be used.
Okay.
So that's my way of learning. Reading is another passion. I've got my own personal library of more than about 40,000 books or
40,000?
documents. Yeah, personalized. I have even
It's in your home only?
Yeah. I only have my.
I would love to come one day and see that.
Sure. Why not? I've even got reference cards of my father's time as a student. I've got so old documents of my father, his colleagues, and others. I love collecting books. So yeah, and I love reading them. Yeah, so that's the rest.
Okay. If not into regulatory affair, where Vipin Saini would be?
I would have been, following my passion. Passion at that point of time in the earlier career, if I wouldn't have been consultancy came as a coincidence.
Yes.
Right? And I mastered that thing. But probably I would have been, I don't know, probably a chef, maybe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Any management trainee joining today, what will be your advice to climb up the corporate level?
See, for any agripreneur or any candidate, you need to understand the corporate world, what the corporate world wants. I've been providing advisories to IRI people also, but they're so focused again on their research and things that they don't go beyond that thing. You need to look beyond. You need to understand where you want to. If you want to enter the corporate, then understand the corporate world. The very first thing I'll say is master your English. This is you need to be smart. You need to dress well early in your career. Afterwards, even if you're in your pajamas, nobody's going to ask you. Okay?
Yes.
But English is what I have found, that if you want to be successful in the corporate, there will be many people may deny this thing.
Yes.
But if you know English well, you're fluent in English, you got a better chance of representing yourself in any platform, internationally, nationally, and things like that. I don't deny, because, I've seen Hindi speaking school coming across. I wouldn't want to discourage them, but then I found them, not up to that thing. But if you do encourage that thing, then it comes across nicely.
If someone feels trapped in the role or situation that does not align with their passion, What is your guidance to move forward?
If you're looking at money, of earning money, and you need money, continue doing the same till you actually burn out. 2, you're not satisfied with the job, you have a passion, follow your passion side by side, that does not intervene with your job profile, right? And see how far you can go. Once you gain the confidence of following your passion, then take the risk of shifting. Okay? But if you have got a passion that you look upon, that you're 100% sure that now this is what I want to do, this is only what I want to do, I'll say go about it. And this is exactly what's happening with startups. But then 90% of the startups are also, going down. Yeah.
Most exciting project you have ever done?
Most exciting project I've ever done. If you talk about academics enrichment, my doing LLM professional in IP was the best thing I did.
Okay. Are you a goal-oriented or a process-oriented person? Are you a goal-oriented or a process-oriented person?
Both.
3 books you want to recommend to our audience?
Mine. Read all books I published. Okay, books can be anything related to your passion and your profession. Go through them. There's no end of learning. Okay? And 2, in a professional concern, whether you're not in the regulatory compliance thing, have a knowledge of regulatory compliance. Go through various websites where information is available according to your profession or passion. And one of the things that I do is that I'm a huge follower of parliamentary questions and answers. Many people are, but they will be restricted to agriculture, IT and all. I go through the whole gamut of those things, and then I pick up whatever I feel can be related to my profession in that part. So it may be unrelated at that point of time, but yeah, that's it.
And I understand apart from reading, you have published also many books.
Yeah,
How
I
many
said
you
I've
have published?
About 55 plus or so, yeah.
Very nice, very nice. And last, what message you want to give to our young agri graduate? You can look at the camera and tell.
Okay, the young agri graduates, I'll just say, apart from following your passion, try to understand that you need to make a living also. So in that regard, wherever you want to focus upon, try to understand before you complete your academics, that start looking in the possibilities, or the various possibilities that you can see yourself being fitted into, and then pursuing the same across. But that's total your call. You need to be convinced that what you want to do and what you're looking at is what you really believe in. And even if you don't believe in, or you feel that you're not well equipped to do so, then make it a point to get into the whole subject of that thing and master that ability so that your success is confirmed.
Thank you so much, sir, for gracing the show.
Thank you very much.
Really
Pleasure.
I hope it has been a good experience for you also.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I thank you for all this thing. I hope this podcast of yours goes across many viewers and they are benefited by it. And in case any of your viewers have got any further clarifications, I will be more than happy to address them for you. Okay?
Thank you so much.